Hello everyone. So in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to speak at ACE Maidenhead, and the topic of my talk is Automation Demystified. So basically, I'll be talking about automation options in Jira, and of course, I have to prepare for it. And to be honest, it has been now it is just 2 weeks left, and I need to prepare for it because it's a talk. It's like a presentation. There will be people, and I thought I'll probably just start preparing for it. And while I was preparing for it, I was actually working on the notes. So I thought I'll probably just also make a video out of it because why not? And in a way, this video is just like a high level summary of what I'm going to talk about. Basically, automation options. Now, if you are new to Jira, if you are maybe trying to explore Jira, this can be useful. And by the way, if you are in London area or if you are somewhere in Berkshire or Buckinghamshire, then you can definitely come to Maidenhead. Maidenhead is reachable. Maidenhead is on the Elizabeth line. So if let us say you are in central London, you can reach Maidenhead in maybe 1 hour, I guess, depending upon the fast train. If you take the fast train to Slough, then you can definitely reach Maidenhead quickly. Or if you are in a Reading area, you can also come to Maidenhead. It is definitely reachable, and just three stations, right? Now, uh, of course, if you're not in the UK, then I'm not really expecting you to be there, but you can still watch my videos. You can, just follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, by the way. So I thought I'll probably just make a video where I will talk about automation options. And if you are new to Jira, or if you are maybe using Jira, or if you're exploring what automation, like what all automations can be done, I think this video or maybe the talk can be useful. I will also, because I will be working on usually the way ACE events work, it's not very formal, so you are relaxed. So when you go to an ACE event, you start with drinks and refreshments, and you talk to people, and then you of course deliver your talk. And again, as I mentioned, it is not really a very formal event, so you can just have like a casual conversation with people, ask them a lot of questions, let them ask you a lot of questions, and then uh, they uh, order pizza. So it's more about networking, it's more about getting to know each other better. So I will be talking about it, and at the same time, you don't really have to be in the UK to attend my talk, but I will also make a video, like a proper video on the same topic. So don't worry about it. So in this video, I thought I'll probably just give you a very high level overview. Now, when it comes to automation options, you also have to first figure out, in case you don't already know, because it happens a lot. Sometimes people don't even know whether they are on cloud or data center. So if you are on cloud, then the automation options can be different. If you are on data center, if you're on prem, then the automation options are definitely not only different, but you have more options. So I want to cover both very quickly. Now, I'll start with the most common way to automate, and that is Jira REST API. Now, Jira REST API, or just REST API, REST API is a way to interact with the tool from outside. Uh, for example, maybe you want to create an issue in Jira using your own script. It could be a shell script, it could be a Python script, or maybe you want to pull data from Jira and feed it to another tool. So the way you would pull information from Jira, it could be using REST API. So REST API can be used to add something to Jira, pull something from Jira, or maybe to update something. Basically, the REST API concept: push, post, and put. Right. And by the way, I have like a very popular video on REST API, which is like one of the most popular video on my channel. So REST API is like very common. Everyone knows about it. You can use REST API with almost any programming language. So when it comes to REST API, you can do it on cloud and also on data center. So that is something that is great. because uh, it is not really dependent on uh, the tool itself. It's more about the endpoints. I mean, when you're interacting with Jira using REST API, the endpoints can be slightly different. I don't really have like an exact table showing you if you have to create an issue, this is the endpoint on cloud or this is the endpoint on server. But more or less it is same. But of course, I'm not really expecting you to have just one set of scripts and use it for both server and data center. So it should be cloud specific or data center specific. So I use like my own script, but I know that this script will definitely work on cloud because that is how I have written that script. And it could be in any language. I mean, most of my scripts that I have that use REST API, they are nothing but curl calls, and I run them using shell script. And the JSON response that I get, I use JQ to parse the JSON. And I have like not one, not two, hundreds of videos on my channel. So if you want to learn Jira REST API, watch my videos. If you go to my website ravisagar.in, you can learn about it. The second option is using the automation rules. So if you're on cloud, you have automation rules. If you're on server, I think you need to install an app. If it is not already there, I think you need to install an app. So automation rules on Jira Cloud, you can do a lot of things. It is not like uh, using. I mean, you can do a lot of things, but still you're limited. And when it comes to automation rules, it is like a no-code solution, which is fine. I wish if automation rules can also let you write your own code for advanced users, but it is more right now it is no code, so you can basically configure your rule, like you can define what would be the trigger, what will happen when this trigger is triggered, like the event. Let us say if the issue is transition, you want to do something. You may want to add a comment or you may want to transition a linked issue. So you can do that using automation. And we also have automation like because this automation was an app on data center that was acquired by Atlassian. So on data center, I think it is still an app that you need to download from the marketplace. But if you know how to work on automation rules on cloud, you can do the same thing on server. I think on data center you can also there is an option. There used to be an option to also using automation. You can also execute a Groovy code, which I'm not really sure because I haven't really done it in a while. Now the third option is using a script now for Jira. And by the way, I'm making this video automation options based on my experience. I'm not really saying this is the only way of doing it. You may have other options, but I'm just going to give you an idea, right? So third option is script for Jira. So fortunately, there is script for Jira on cloud. The problem is that script for Jira on cloud is limited by what REST API can offer. So basically, using script for Jira on cloud, you will basically get a script console and a place to write scripts within Jira because it is an app, and you can do it within Jira without leaving Jira ever. But if you know how Jira REST API works, and if you know a bit of Groovy, then you can use script for Jira on cloud. But script for Jira on data center is different level. You can do whatever you want to do with Jira because script for Jira on data center can of course use REST API, but it can also use a Jira Java API. So you can almost do each and everything that you ever want to do with Jira. You can change Jira, you can break Jira, you can basically do plenty of customizations. And I have again hundreds of videos on Jira. In fact, I have videos on automation, like a separate course. I have videos on script for Jira on cloud. I have videos on script for Jira on server. So if you want to learn automation options, if you want to learn automation in Jira, I guess you know already. You can learn it for free by going to my website ravisagar.in. Again, I don't really have any paid courses yet, but everything is free that I do on YouTube. And maybe in future I'll probably have paid courses, but I don't really have any paid content yet. So you have the option to basically learn all of these things for free. Now, talking about Java APIs, Jira Java APIs. Now, let me start with Jira Data Center. Apart from using these options, Jira REST API, automation tools, and script now for Jira, you can also build your own app. So when I started learning Jira, or when I started providing consultancy on Jira, I used to actually build like a lot of small Jira apps to do things like, okay, let me write a new small Jira app, Jira plugin. It used to be called as plugin, then module, and then app. Yes. Okay. So I used to write these plugins to basically create workflow validators, workflow conditions, do some modifications on the UI, and you can do that with your own app on data center using Java API. If you're on cloud, you have two options to develop an app. You can use Connect. I have never really used Connect, but I have a published app on Jira Data Center using Java APIs, of course. And the last option to develop apps on cloud is Forge, Atlassian's new platform for app development. I've made few videos on Forge, but and by the way, I also have a Forge app which is published on the marketplace. So in fact, I have three apps on the marketplace. So I have some experience on Forge, and again, I don't really have a lot of apps on the marketplace. But Forge I know is not really, because based on the feedback, based on what I know, I think it is still growing. It can't really do each and everything, but Atlassian is working really hard on it, I guess. And I don't always agree with each and everything that Atlassian is doing, but because I don't really, to be honest, I don't like cloud. To be honest, I'm very open about it because I love working on Jira Data Center. It is great, but when it comes to cloud, it is not the same, especially if you are a techie like me. Now, Forge is easy to use. You can do a lot of things very easily, and you don't have to set up your own infrastructure. You just have to write the code and deploy it. The only problem that might come in future is Forge is right now developing an app using Forge is free, but in future Atlassian was supposed to keep Forge free till 2022 or 2023, I guess, but now I think they will keep it free till December 2024. That is, I guess, the current plan. But Forge can also be used to, improve Jira, automate Jira, and uh, because I have developed an app, the app that I have is called Stay on Top. So I have two apps, Stay on Top and JQL Maximizer. So JQL Maximizer is an app that will bring a lot of JQL, not a lot, but I think seven or eight new JQL functions on data center. On so this is JQL Maximizer. Stay on Top is an app that I'm working on for a long time, but I have a published version, like a simple version, where you will get a panel on the issue. It will do some magic and it will show you some statistics, like for how long this issue has been open. It will also tell you the component lead's name and the email address. And this app on data center is of course using the Java APIs, but on cloud it was built using Forge. So you can do a lot of things using Forge. Again, it's not only each and everything, but still you can do a lot. And I'm working on improving my apps, by the way. So you can always use Forge. Now let us talk about some use cases. Let us say you want to do an audit of your Jira instance, and this is something that I do a lot. Now, if you're on cloud, you can, of course, use REST API. So what I do, I have like some shell scripts. So I pass like the authentication token, and I run those scripts to pull key things from Jira, and then of course tell my client, okay, you have a lot of configurations that you're probably not really using. So you can do things using REST API, like pull things from Jira, like configuration. And this is of course like for audit or health check. Uh, and this can be done using, of course, REST API on both server and cloud. If we talk about, let us say, another use case, I'll of course not really go into the detail, but just to give you an idea, let us say you want to sync two tools together, or let us say you want to sync Jira with another tool. Now you can of course do it using REST API. If if you're on cloud, then you have to use REST API. But if you're on server, you can use script now for Jira to maybe make a REST call to the other tool. But if you're talking to Jira within Jira on Jira Data Center, then you can use the Java API. So this is something that you can do using, of course, Scrivener for Jira. And of course, I'm a bit biased towards Scrivener for Jira. I'm not really aware of any other. I think there is one more app. I will, of course, not really name it, but there is also one more app that you can use to maybe write some scripts. It's not really that feature rich, but it can also be used. But if you're talking about doing automation in Jira, then I would say uh, Script Runner is really one good option that you have that will actually because when you're using Script Runner, both on server and cloud, you're within Jira, and that is a great thing because you can write your scripts within Jira and automate it. You're not really doing like full-fledged development where you have to maintain your code somewhere else and then test it somewhere else. I mean, of course, you still do it with the script now, but you are basically in a way your scripts sit within your Jira. Okay, I just disturbed my camera. So basically, script now for Jira can help you maintain those scripts within Jira. Of course, I recommend you to also version control your scripts, but at the same time, it is convenient. And I also recommend because of course I'm talking about automation. I also say always that don't don't really uh, automate each and everything. That is really important, right? Because I receive a lot of because I work because I'm a consultant, right? And I talk to people a lot, and it's not always fun, but at the same time you learn a lot. You get to because if you're a consultant, you're talking to people. You sometimes uh, get weird requests like, "Can I start my sprint on time? Can I add all the items from my backlog in the sprint automatically? Can I end my sprint on time?" So Jira is again, I've mentioned this many times before. Jira is not really going to do the project management for you. Jira is not really going to do the work for you. Jira is not really a scrum master. You can, of course, do some automation to save time, to maybe do your things error free, because if you're doing the same thing manually, it can be a bit uh, prone to error. For example, a very good example of automation is to do onboarding. So whenever a new person joins your organization, you have to do 10 things always. And you can do it manually, but imagine doing it automatically. So there is a process and there is an audit that, okay, there is a new employee. I have given that employee ID card. I have given that employee a laptop. I have done this and that. So you have like checks and you have audit. So this is like a very good example, but don't really expect Jira to do all the work for you. That is like just blaming a tool for your incompetency or for your laziness. And I'm very blunt about it. If I am, I mean, Jira is a tool, and you should treat it as a tool. You can, of course, automate a lot of things, although I do talk about automation a lot. I mean, the company that I run, Sparksys, we are focused heavily on automation, integration, reporting, but at the same time, I always try to understand from my clients why they want to automate this. There has to be a very good reason. There has to be like a valid uh, reason to do that automation. It's not really about whether we can do it or not, but first try to understand why. Why you want this thing to happen on its own. All right, I've been talking for 18 minutes, and hopefully I've given you some ideas about automation. And on this channel, I of course focus. My focus is definitely on getting the most out of Jira, and my target audience is not always consultants or developers or admins, but also I make videos for everyone. Even if you are a user of Jira, then hopefully I have given you some ideas. All right, I'll stop here. I have been talking for 19 minutes, and hopefully I've given you a lot of things to think about. And I hope you found this video useful and you learned something new. Bye bye.